everybody. Sup, my people. How is everyone doing today? Welcome to yet another day of Unapologetically a Woman. So please, if today is your first time of joining me, kindly note this is a woman's platform for changing all that is no longer acceptable. Okay? Anyways, to all my lovelies who were already used to seeing me dance before starting this show, I'm so sorry, my darlings. Dancing will have to wait for now till further notice, or until special occasions, okay? Though occasionally, I can still give some little steps in my life shows, okay? But I'm not totally rolling dancing out yet, okay? Something great is coming. I'm going to give you that step, the real step, okay? So folks, without wasting much of your precious time, let's get started with my people. Today, I want to talk about our children and whose responsibilities is it to protect them. Okay? So whose responsibility is it to protect African children? So I'm going to focus on Nigeria because I can't talk of all African countries at the same time, okay? But I know that this is a commonality in all the countries. It is not peculiar of Cameroon, of Liberia, Sierra Leone, or Nigeria. It is a commonality. Whose responsibility is it to protect our children, okay? So first, I have tried researching to see if we have a ministry in charge of children, in charge of child protection, excuse me, and social services in Nigeria. I just could not find one that is directly assigned to protect and provide for children. No. Even on state level, what I'm seeing is one or two little things like attached, family services or welfare offices that is attached to women affairs and all that. And federal level, I saw that the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, I saw that maybe we could want to relate children issues to that. But their responsibilities are not so clear for me to understand. The ministry is very huge, and can be said to have like 3 or 4 ministries in one place, okay? So, and then you can imagine with a population of almost 200 million people, or even more than 1 million people, okay? Because I know, when they do census, they don't go to those really, 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 remote areas. So let's say in a country of more than 200 million folks, it is difficult to manage just that one ministry and then having like 3 huge ministries put together in one. I don't know how that ministry is being managed by just one minister, because Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs should be one on its own. Ministry of what's it called? Disaster Management should be one on its own. And then Ministry of Social Development should be another of its own. Not like bringing all together. Who does that? That is too much to handle. And even if the person, even if you are having all the educational background and experience in the social service sector, you will still need a minister, an assistant minister, or a deputy minister, whatever we want to call it, in each of these ministries. Okay, so even if this ministry is divided into different ministries of their own, you still need a minister in each category and an assistant minister. Okay, so to be able to reach out properly to those it is structured to serve or to service, right? So my people, it is disgustingly problematic to see or watch how our children are easily accessible like peanuts for all manners of atrocities, havoc, and maltreatment day after day without accountability of any kind. Excuse me, and leadership are all deaf, paying deaf ears and blind eyes to children's needs and treatments in our society. Children don't count. No, children don't count. Being a child in Africa, or in Nigeria to be precise, should not be a death sentence. No, it should not. Enough of bringing children to life to maltreat them, to torture them, and then abandon them to their fate for everything and anything to befall them. Enough. But today, before I go further, before I touch on various issues relating to the treatments of children, I will like us to watch some videos first and then go through some pictures just to give an insight, of the troubling situation children find themselves in Nigeria and in Africa. Like I said, it is a commonality around the continent, okay? So I want to play a video. I hope I can play it. So folks, be patient. I am going to move the camera a little and just try to use a TV for it, okay? So be patient with me while I try to change the angle, okay? So, but I'm going to be talking. Okay, so I'm going to play this. This is a video in Africa where children are supposedly learning Chinese language. The Chinese teacher is teaching them something you will not even believe. So the teacher is telling them to call themselves ugly monster N-word, okay? And then saying, I have a very low IQ. That is the Chinese they are teaching them. So some African countries, they have already sold their economy to the Chinese government. And then now they want to, most of them have already introduced Chinese as a language in their schools, include Chinese in their curriculum. So the teacher supposedly that is teaching these little children the Chinese language is teaching them to call themselves ugly black monsters and then add the N-word to it. And then say we have very low IQs. That is the Chinese these children are learning. That is the Chinese these children are learning. And this is happening in Africa. Okay? So you can see, you can see where, so I hope folks can see this. I'm trying to move it a little. Yeah, it can be seen properly. Yeah? So these children are taught to call themselves black monster and N-word, and then say they have low IQs. You see? And I say I'm an ugly black monster N-word and I have a low IQ. This is what they are teaching these children in the school. What a shame. And this is happening in Africa. This is not happening in China, okay? And then I want to show another video quickly. So folks, be patient with me today, okay? So this is another video that is showing a plane that supposedly carried lots of African children and was transporting them to France. So it's not like they went to one country. They went to various African countries, stealing children and putting them on a chartered plane. But the plane, unfortunately, was intercepted in Chad. So I'm going to play it briefly. I'm going to try to play everything briefly so folks can see what is happening. Oh my God, no. Briefly. Okay. So you will see children. You will see lots of children. They stole them. They stole these children. See them? These are little children that were stolen from Africa. The plane was intercepted in Chad, in a country in Africa. So this plane, most of these children now, they don't even know how to get home. Little kids. And they all speak different African languages. So they were not taken from one place. So maybe they went to Ghana, they stole some. They went to Nigeria, they stole some. They went to Sierra Leone, they stole some. Cameroon, they stole some. So they are picking them from one African country to the other. They are all different. They speak, different. They all speak different languages. You know. But this particular plane was intercepted in Chad. That is why we even know about it. Only God knows how many times they've been doing this. This did not start today. So that is why I am asking, whose duty is it to protect our children? Okay? So that's one video. I'm going to take that away now. And then I want to play another one. I'm sure this happened in Nigeria, but I am so disgusted that I want to know where exactly did this incident take place, what state, what city, and then if there is somebody responsible for children in that city or for families, children's services, women affairs, please reach out to me. Please, we need to make sure that this person pay for his crime. This video is about a 4-year-old kindergarten girl who was raped by her teacher, raped by the owner of the school. It was not just a singular experience. This guy has been raping this little child consecutively, according to what the child is relating. And I don't understand why this girl they will be parading her on TV when she's supposed to be getting the support that she needs. She's supposed to be in the hospital. According to what the mother is relating here, she said the girl's vagina is destroyed. And then that the girl is in pains, that she does not even have money to take the girl to the hospital. Can folks imagine this? She's raped and then the mother have to look for money to take the child to the hospital. So right now she's self-medicating this little child. Again, this child is 4 years old. She was raped by her teacher, and the teacher happens to be the owner of the school. So I want to know if that school is still open. I want to know whether other children, they are being examined. I want to know where that owner of that school is right now, because these are things that are happening and people think with their money they can go scot-free. So this is the little girl. They are interviewing her, so she's relating the story that her uncle, which is teacher in the school. Oh my God. Unbelievable. Okay, see? Yeah. So this is so disgusting. I can't watch more of this. So it's on Facebook if folks want to watch. So I'm going to take this out. And then these are little children who are punished. So I'm sorry, some of these images are very disturbing. So if you are not comfortable with watching them, you can take a leave and then come back, maybe in 3 minutes and, follow me on the video, okay? So some of these images are disturbing. These are children that were beaten black to stupor. Either because they sent them to go buy something and they came with the wrong item. They are beaten with no accountability, okay? So I'm going to take all this away. Yeah, so I am going to bring some pictures of children, okay? So I hope I can actually, okay, so yeah. So I hope you can see it. Okay. So this is a picture. I'm just trying to give an example, because sometimes they will say, oh, you don't need to show all these pictures. No. You need to put a face to crime sometimes to be able to stop it. You need to name it. You need to name it. Because when you are just saying it without no little graphics or something for people to see, they think you are just there ranting, you are just talking. So they are very disturbing images, but I tried to pick out the ones that are less disturbing. They are still disturbing though, but I tried to pick the less disturbing ones, okay? So this one is children who are put in the middle of a crowd. Supposedly they've been identified as witches. So guess what? Either they are going to burn them alive, nail their head with nails, kill them, torture them till they die, banish them from the village, and then roam about to unknown lands till they die. Okay? So this is a system, a culture that is still very prevalent, where somebody can pinpoint you for witchcraft and then think, okay, because of their you are giving them bad luck. You are the cause of their unemployment. You are the cause of their poverty. And guess what? In a country where there is joblessness, where the government is not providing, people don't go looking for the right cause of their problem. They suspect each other and call each other witches. So this is one. Children. And guess what? This is disgusting. They've turned Africa into a pedophile hub where people come. Can you imagine this? Does this happen in the West? This is a little child that is not even more than 3 years old. This is happening in Africa, and there's a lot of photos, but I can't show it. Okay? I can't show it. This is disgusting. This is an old man doing this. Will a black man do this? Okay. So this is another photo. Africa is now a pedophile hub. We have leaders. Our children are not protected. This is what is happening. That is one. Then another one. This is Amajiris from north of Nigeria. They are left to lodge from one place to another. Every nook and cranny now, you see them panhandling. These are children. I'm coming to talk about them all. So I just want to, these are children having babies. Babies having babies. All these are still happening. Babies are having babies. These ones' hands are almost chopped off. Either they are living with a stepmom, or they became a domestic servants. Parents give their children out at the age of 3, 4 to become a domestic servants because they cannot take care of their children. These are all children that are burnt for one little crime or the other. See? For one little thing. People put all their anger on little children and nothing is done about it. They break their heads and kill them. So these are very disturbing images. I'm just rushing them now. See, this little girl, her hands were almost chopped off and put inside the fire to burn because she took meat from the grandmother's pot. So you know what? I'm not going to continue with this. It's a lot. And then the images are really disturbing. But I just wanted to give folks an insight of what is happening in African society. And then we need accountability. We are saying something needs to be done, okay? So I'm going to bring the camera back to me, and then I can talk about it. So, folks, I thank you, first of all, for your patience. Okay, so, yeah. So I'm bringing this in now. Okay, so, yeah, these are all our children. Whose responsibility is it to protect them? That's the $1 million question for today's program. Whose responsibility is it to protect these children? Okay? Someone got to be held accountable for the lives of these children, right? So, who is that person? With all the monies invested in the so-called social programs in high level of government around the country, and in 2020, there is no kind of protection, programs and policies in place to protect our children or to find them when they go missing or when they are stolen. Where do we start looking for accountability in this situation? Is it from state level? Is it from state level leadership or federal level? Where do we start looking for accountability? Who the beings are responsible to design programs to protect, to provide, and support our children in Nigeria? Under what ministry is children's needs and the best interests of the child affiliated or prioritized? Under what ministry is the best interest of the child taken into consideration or is provided? Under what ministry? I like to know. We have Ministry of Water Resources when there is still no flowing or drinkable water flowing from taps for people to drink, and people must have to go buy water. Even in 2020, with all the streams, the lakes and big rivers we have in Nigeria, people still need to buy water. And guess what? We have a ministry for electricity. But there are folks who don't have power for years and they still live in darkness. We even have ministry for roads, and yet our roads are all in shambles, and when it rains we need a canoe to cross. And then we have Ministry of Education, when basic education eludes us and children are learning from schools without roofs, sitting on the floor without chairs, and without the proper technology in this age of globalization and awareness. With all the money we have, that is how children go to school. Let us not even talk about the healthcare sector, because that will take the whole day to talk about. In fact, the list of the lack of basic resources go on and on. Goes on and on, my people. Again, what ministry protects our children? Because a very high percentage of our children are abandoned to fate. And therefore can be stolen and used for suya. They can kill them and turn them into gwongwo, for food and sell them for profits. We've seen a lot of videos. I don't want to start showing it, where people want to start food business. They kill a little child, slaughter her, cook her into meat, and start selling her until they were caught. So, and then these children, when they are abandoned, they can be used for ritualistic purposes and all manners of diabolical stuff, just to say the least. As I speak, my people, as I speak, children are still hawking in the streets during school hours. And this has been a long time situation, and still folks have not found solution for it. Millions of children go missing every day through hawking in the streets without adult protection or supervision. Some are raped to death. Some are used for child pornography and all manners of atrocities. Until today, children are still beaten, brutalized, tortured, slaughtered, with their hands chopped off and body marked with scars of aggression and serious abuse by parents or their guardians, without impunity. until today. Children are still used as domestic servants and labored to death. They are trafficked and killed without a database to know who and who is missing, or a nationwide system to track missing children. We don't have it. So you can literally steal as many children as you want, okay, from one location and take them to another location. So you can steal from the north and take it to the east, or take it to the south, and then you can steal from the east and the south and take it to the north. And that is the end of such children, because they cannot locate them. And guess what? Nobody bothers to look for them, especially when the police do not have a database to work with. Children are not registered. There is no way to look for a missing child. And we're supposed to be civilized. There is no thing like television warrants or adverts or system to announce and track down missing children. Okay? Let me give you a brief history of what I noticed when I went to Nigeria. My last visit to Nigeria last summer, because, so my last visit to Nigeria last summer, I visited lots of orphanages and lots of charities, because I wanted to get an insight of what was happening, right? So in one of the places I visited, I saw that there were children brought from the north. And this particular place I visited was a southern state. Okay, I don't want to mention names. And then I happened to ask the owner of this place. Actually, that orphanage was a private house. It was a 2-bedroom apartment, and they have more than 15 children there. And I'm like, okay, who is this person? And long story short, they said she's a triplet. They brought her all the way from Borno, from the northern part of Nigeria. And I'm like, okay, the parents gave her to you, her family member. They said, no. There's a man who usually go there to bring displaced children, bring them all the way from the north and bring them to the south. And as a matter of fact, the man has gone again to go and bring more children. So it makes me to wonder, under what authority, under whose consent are children being taken from one place to the other? So come on. This is a very serious issue. It is very problematic and worrisome, okay? So even opening an orphanage in Nigeria is now a very lucrative business, as anyone can turn their homes or even room and parlor apartments into an orphanage home without no documentation, and not being under any kind of supervision or by local authorities. Like I said, all you need is just go to the streets, pick children, capture children from the streets, and then bring them into your place and start using them to make money. Start using them to make a living. Such children can be prone to rape. Such children can be prone to trade. They can be prone to child pornography, pedophiles ring, or a place where their organs are harvested without a government body supervising these places or cracking down on illegal orphanages and fake charities without legal standing or responsibilities. We do not know who the founders of these clandestine organizations are or their line of business. And out of the blue, they all own charities to extort money from people, and then use our children as social media guinea pigs to commercialize them for profit. Which further traumatizes people and further strip people of their human dignity and self-worth. Again, I visited like 6 different orphanages, like I said, and charities during my last visit to Nigeria as a part of my investigation towards understanding the gaps we have in such sectors, and what I could do to support, So while I was preparing to begin to start the Never on My Watch movement, I visited Nigeria last year. So I visited a lot of charities, I visited hospitals, and then try to just get an insight of how things are run there, and to see where the gaps are, and if there is anything I can do to support or to help. I found out that there is no well-planned structure to service children in such places. It is a mixture of various backgrounds and vulnerability. So most of the orphanages and charities I visited, for example, a child who lost his or her parents, a year-old child, is put in a place with a street youth who have experienced chronic homelessness, trauma, and abuse. Or a child who was almost burnt alive by parents for suspicion of witchcraft and bad luck are put in one place with other children. Children who face or who have experienced domestic violence, trauma, incest, sexual abuse, and all put together, they carry them and put them in the same place. So there is no age group. They are all mixed from 3 months old to even 14, 15 years. They all mix them all together. So you go to such places, you see children having this lost look. When you visit such orphanages, these children have lost look. That look of imprisonment, that look of lack of love, lack of attention, and then no social support, and then it's like no freedom. So you see them, they are looking from the barbed wires, they are looking from gates. There is a gated place where these children are just put there. So folks are just housed and maybe giving some food to keep them alive, while their trauma, their abuse, mental health situations, and then programs to be tailored to each person and their vulnerabilities are not addressed, or even thought about. So they put these people in one place like prisoners, all in the name of feeding them and taking care of them, whereas programs are not tailored to each person's situation, and their vulnerabilities are not addressed or even thought about. The only thing they give them is that shelter and food. So putting these children of all ages and different vulnerabilities together in one place, looked from the outside world, does not help situation. Okay? These children are not prisoners and may likely be more traumatized and chronically abused than they were before they got into such places. Excuse me. Okay? Before they got into such places. Therefore, I am calling on the government that professionals and good-minded people should be present to handle such agencies. Oh yes, there should be some legal responsibilities, expertise, and professionalism to be a funder, organizer, or owner of such agencies, especially if you are dealing with children or you're dealing with vulnerable people, whether it's an orphanage home or a charitable organization where people live there and they are under your care. Somehow they are in your hands. Okay? There should be some accountability for that. I do not doubt the good and caring intentions of people. As I understand that, okay, the intention may be pure. Okay? But the method by which it is operated over there is very poor and below healthy standard. Okay? Which may be very risky without the government intervention and support. So you don't just let people open different kinds of organizations and say, oh, this is an orphanage in their private houses, and then go to the street and pick children and put there. Without background checks and no frequent inspection. Come on. So please, I am suggesting to the government that there should be background checks and frequent inspection, to these places, and it should be carried out immediately, both on state level and federal levels, because we live in a very iniquitous and evilly embedded society where people can do anything for money. We live in a very iniquitous and evilly embedded society where people can do anything for money, and our children should not be a part of that nauseating statistics for making abracadabra money. Okay? Again, whose job is it to protect our children from harm's way? Whose job it is? When a woman inmate in the prison system gives birth to a baby while she's in the prison, where does the baby go? Who takes care or who takes charge of that baby? I heard such babies are allegedly sold to people who buy them to use for anything and everything. And as I speak now, some parents still sell their children for peanuts to raise money for personal business, or give their baby daughters out to child marriage to a man as old as their great-grandfathers. Children are still being abandoned in the middle of nowhere to die, or beaten to death and burnt alive for suspicion of witchcraft and bad luck, like I said before. So whose responsibility is it to protect our children? What measures are taken or will be taken to stop all these barbarities towards children in our communities? Enough of children being used as guinea pigs for experiments by everyone, from local charities to international civil societies, who all come with the white man's burden to Africa with the pretense of helping and saving people. Whereas they are all political tools for propagating notions and ideology of white supremacists. They come to commercialize with African children for gain and for profit by taking pictures of them and using their faces to sell miseries worldwide and on TVs. So every charity in this world, when you want to see their logo or you want to see their emblem, right? They emblematize poverty from the African continent. They put our black children faces when they are seeking for funds. Who protects our children? My people, where are all the children displaced by Boko Haram? Where are all the children who flew to neighboring countries for refuge? How are these children protected? What have become of them, especially in this era of COVID-19? And then, will these children who fled from Boko Haram, will they finally be brought back home to be reintegrated back into society? I also see that there is a high adoption rate going on now, both local and international level. People are selling out their children, for folks who are coming internationally. They are selling out their children to people to take to the West out of poverty, thinking their children will have a better life here. They don't even know the people they are selling their children to, whether they are buying them to harvest their organs, whether they are buying them to use them in sex slave, whether they are buying them to oh my God, Africa, wake up. There is a high rate of adoption going on right now, both locally and internationally. I like to know who does background checks on people seeking to adopt, especially the ones who come from international. Or is it now your pocket? It depends on how big your pocket is. So nobody cares who you are, whether you are a serial killer, whether you are a bloodsucker, whether you are a racist, hash out of hell, nobody cares, provided they come flash some monies and then you give them any African child to take away. I want to know who does the background checks on people seeking to adopt and take children from Africa. Who does it? Nigeria, I like to know. And then later, you do not know too, when they adopt these children, what becomes of these children with the adopted parents. And whether baby girls are groomed to get married to the adopted fathers. So maybe they come, they take these little baby girls and groom them. By the time they are 8 to 10 years old, when they become a teenager, the adopted father will marry them and turn them into wives at home. Or a sex slave. You don't know. Again, recently, Nigerian children are being chased out of every corners of the country as if they are aliens or pests thrown from the moon. If I may ask, these Amajire, or excuse me if I'm not pronouncing the name well, these Amajire children, are these folks not Nigerian children? Leadership is aware of the root cause of their problems, but no one is doing anything to find solutions. The poverty rate in the north of Nigeria is alarming. It is shameful too. Children who are sent to Islamic schools are now beggars in every nook and cranny of our nation, and they are being treated like a pandemic while we all watch. Is there no way, excuse me, while we all watch, is there no way these children can be reintegrated back to their local states and communities, instead of these dramatic scenes we see about them on social media? Is there no way they can take them back to their original states and local government areas and their communities? Someone even told me the other day that these people go as far as Saudi Arabia to beg for arms. They go as far as Saudi Arabia to panhandle. They have taken panhandling as a profession. These are Nigerian children. Nigerian leadership. Is there a thing that gives you people shame? Is there anything that can cause you shame in that country? I'm beginning to wonder. Don't you people feel shame? Our children are becoming professional beggars worldwide. What is happening in leadership that these negative images of children does not affect you? What is happening? How long does this have to continue while you all do nothing about protecting children in our societies and in our communities? Even the Child Act is non-active and inexistent. It's like it's not existing. It is time to stop trading with children's pains and suffering. It is time to stop trading with children's calamities. It is time you all do something to protect your most vulnerable before it's too late. And please do it now. Do it now. Okay? Do it now. Our children are dying. Our children are dying. They are being mistreated. Do something to protect African children. African leaders, do something. Wake the beings up and do something. And please do it fast and do it now. Once again, my people, I'm just being unapologetically a woman. So please always remember that this is a woman's place for changing all that is no longer acceptable. Again, if you are not part of the solution, you are the problem. Okay? So please, before I forget, that little girl, 4 years old, that was raped, I don't know where that incident happened. Please, if you have any information about that video, kindly inbox me, please. Let me know the state where it happened so we can reach out to people in charge. We can reach out, please, so that that man, that animal will not go unpunished. And please, stop the rape. There's a lot of rape cases going on. Look at this other girl in Edo State that was raped. I'm going to talk about that some other time. But please, stop and stop. That is why we need protection for our children. They are the most vulnerable in our society. So please, my people, I thank you all once again for your patience. I thank you all for listening. I thank you all for always watching my video, okay? So don't forget to share. I want you to share. Share so somebody can listen to it, so that it will get to the right authorities that can help, that can intervene, that can understand that we are sick and tired of seeing, these negative images about our children, of seeing how people are profiting from children's pains and children's calamities. If you don't share the video, it will not get to these people in leadership position. Share and share, okay? And don't forget, follow me on the Facebook page, like my videos, invite your friends, okay, on the Never on My Watch page. And then you can subscribe to my YouTube channel Unapologetically a Woman. You can also go to the website to see what we're doing and what we plan to do. We still have a lot of work to do on the site, but then check it out if you like. It's www.neveronmywatch.ca. Okay, go there and register and be a member of the movement. Together we can make this happen. Okay, thank you, folks. I love you all, and I'll see you all again soon, okay? Mwah. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Bye, my people. I love you all. Bye-bye.